be comfortable. I'll move the mic. You good? You good? Just talk. So, soon to be a UNLV graduate. When is the big day?
May 14th.
May 14th. So, what are you studying?
I'm a social work major.
And so what do you want to do when you grow up? Or when you graduate?
I do want to work with children and families.
Children and families? Okay, we need some good, strong Christian workers in that area.
Yeah, we do.
You know. Okay, so it says here you work for J.C. Penney's. You're also a full-time student, obviously. What do you do at J.C. Penney's?
I sell fine jewelry, so I'm the person who the guys walk around, dodge the fine jewelry section.
When you say fine jewelry, does that mean the expensive stuff?
Yeah, expensive jewelry.
So you like to have quotas you gotta meet and stuff like that?
Exactly, yeah.
So how you doing?
It's good. I'm ready to graduate. So.
Ready to graduate. So the money must not be that good. You're leaving that to go to social work and work with the kids, or it's not about the money, right?
It's not about the money. I just wanted to do something that was meaningful and also that would pique my own interest. And it also gives you many areas to work in. You can work in hospitals, social agency, government agencies. So it's good to keep moving, keep learning, and helping people out.
Right on. Sounds like a woman with a plan to me. So talk about your home life. You made mention of like social anxiety, tried this, tried that. You tell the story.
Growing up, I grew up in an abusive household, so that was like the biggest thing in my life. It was something that I tried overcoming many times and putting it behind me. But growing up in an abusive household, it just kind of imprints your spirit. And so I had this spirit of fear that I carried around with me. And it just right away it strips you of your self-worth, your confidence. You don't have any, your self-esteem. So I was growing up like this, and I was just pretty lost. But I mean, even the friends that I had, they were jealous. I mean, they told me crazy stuff like, "I hope your face gets scarred." And I mean, the devil comes at you full throttle. Like he attacks your psychological health, and I think that's like the biggest thing is if he attacks that, he just breaks your spirit, and that's all you got. So I had to work through social anxiety, and that was huge because it just broke me down. That fear and anxiety, it was just so overwhelming, But then now that I'm saved, Jesus comes along and he just tells me what I'm worth, and he tells me like that he wants me to come out and give testimony, and he just speaks like wonderful things into my spirit. And he just takes me out of that cage, and he just kind of, like, the self-worth, he breaks that open, he just, everything, he's everything.
So you kind of, yep, that's worth clapping for. You kind of got into it. We're just going to get more into it. What was your like, I guess your breaking point? Because obviously you experienced church growing up. But you were talking about, different churches, and you weren't really surrendered. What led you to surrender to God, I guess?
It had to do with the same thing. Then I started dating this one guy straight out of high school, and he was really like the first person I trusted, and first everything, and so I became extremely attached, and I knew deep down inside he wasn't the person for me, but I just couldn't let go. And so finally, like over time, I kept pushing him away, and then the roles reversed, and I just I had to walk away. And so during that time, I kept praying and going, God, whatever your will is, that's what I want, even if it hurts, And so even though I saw that door was closed, I kept praying and checking to make sure if that door was actually closed. And that's when God taught me that everything is in His hands, and if I trust Him, everything will come to good. So then, after we broke up, I started like really praying, and I just saw that there was nothing holding me back anymore, and I was maturing too. I wanted just to live my life correct. I wanted to go to church and be right with God, and I just wanted goodness. And so I started going to Central Christian Church. it was a good stepping stone, but I needed more out of life, you know, because I wanted a change. So then I remember that a long time ago, a friend had brought me here, and I remember this church, and I just got up and I said, let me check it out. I didn't know what to expect, anything, but when I came, I remember God's presence was so strong here. It was like palpable.
Wow.
And the people just welcomed me, and that was it. It was like my heart was spoken for. I've never stopped coming.
So you mentioned that you went to Central Christian first, which is a big church, mega church.
Mega church.
Got a lot of programming and stuff like that going on. You shared with me backstage, I want you to share with the audience, something happened before you came back here to visit, something like maybe you got a visit from the Holy Spirit or something, you were part of a group or something, talk about that.
So they call it getting connected or plugged in, I can't remember.
Getting plugged in, so getting connected group?
Yeah, so they want you to be more involved, and so I wanted to, kind of start learning and be more involved. And, I started attending a small group with a bunch of young girls, but a lot of them, they were still going out clubbing, some of them still drank. And so, I've always been, especially social work major, you have to be open-minded. But something about it, it was just not enough, and I tried to go, but it didn't stick. And then God kept working with me, and it was like he just kind of, it was like he was waving this big green light right in front of me, and everywhere else it was like red. And I just knew I had to go and seek God, and because I just knew I knew something really bad was gonna happen, and this was my time for me to look for God. There was no hindrance, there was nothing in my way, and that was it. Wow.
Well, welcome. We welcome you with open arms. So how's life now that you're serving Christ for real?
Life now is amazing. I tell God, if you can teach me something new every day, and He's so faithful, because when I wasn't saved, I remember I told Him, I don't really understand. They told me I need to love you with all my heart, but I don't know what that means. If you could teach me one day what that means and make me feel that, that'd be great. And God was faithful. He heard those prayers. And so, I feel this shifting in my heart, in my spirit, and anything I told Him, please, teach me what true confidence is, teach me what true self-esteem is, teach me my worth in you. And He's used different methods, but He's been it's like a revolution in your spirit. He's changed my mind, He's changed my perspective, and He keeps doing it, because sometimes I want to shy away. My natural tendency is to pull back because of everything that's happened. But He wants to bless you, He wants to take your life, He wants to make you shine. He wants to use you, bless you, and move in your life.
Yeah! Get it, girl!
And you get the last word. You got something.
The last word is, for me, with all that fear and anxiety, I could only see my weakness, and I would cry to God, and I felt so weak, and the devil was attacking like that. But then I started reading that some of the strongest men in the Bible, like King David, he cried out, he had fear, but he left it all in God's hands, And over again, God says, I'm the strength in your weakness. Over and over again, He says, bring it to me. He says that I love the humble. So, if you're struggling with that, there's a solution to that. God is your strength, And even if you're already strong, if you kept it all together, God can also be your rest.
Amen.
For me, He's been light in darkness, He's pulled me out. Like I said, there's nothing, He's working on everything. There's nothing I would ever trade for this. My heart's spoken for, so I know you might not understand, but all He wants is for you to be willing and to be honest. Because if you go, God, I don't understand, but here I am, I'm taking that first step, you can see that God will start moving.
Woo! That's Daniela Hernandez.